Madden NFL 24 title update November 2nd. If you guys don't know how title updates work, typically we get one a month, and they are the biggest change to the game. They'll change a ton of different stuff inside the game. And for us, what I care the most about is different MUT stuff and different gameplay-specific things that they change. In October, about a month ago when they changed the game and did a title update for that, they changed the meta entirely by getting rid of loot blitzes. That was the huge thing they did, along with some other stuff, but the loot blitz meta totally died. But if you remember, in that update, there was a huge bug with the kick meter where the kick meter would totally, or the kicking menu would block the kick meter. So they did an emergency patch about 2 weeks later to fix that. That's important. We're going to talk about that in a second. So let's just go through these gridiron notes, though. Gen 4 player experience. Since our last title update, some players have reported a slower experience on Gen 4. The MUT team has made adjustments across the entire MUT head to improve loading and transition times for all platforms. That's awesome. Big fan of that. We are in the year 2023, about to be 2024. The idea of slow loading times is baffling to me. So always, whenever we increase these, it's a big deal. It's a quality of life feature. Great job, EA. W's, W's, W's. That's really the end of the W's, in my opinion, for this. This patch really is pretty upsetting, and the fact that this is our patch for November is really underwhelming, and quite frankly is pretty, we gotta do a little bit better. So, gameplay. Tuning to lower the ratings threshold for catching interceptions on the competitive game style to decrease the number of dropped interceptions. This applies to open catches, since physical contact with a player or the ball can still cause the ball to be knocked out. So, I kind of want to talk about this. There's genuinely just a huge issue in this game with dropped passes as a whole, and just dropping the ball when it's thrown to you and on offense or defense. That's why gift wrap has been a pretty big necessity throughout this year. The last patch, the emergency patch, made it to where you would just drop the ball at a super high rate. That would be for on offense without gift wrapped, defense when you're trying to catch a pick. And even on onside recovery, you would drop. The amount of onsides went significantly up in that after that emergency patch. You would just drop whenever the ball was. You had a chance to catch the ball in any situation. You would drop it. They mentioned this for catching interceptions, but this does apply across the board. I am 99.9% confident in that, and I'm going to keep on trying onside kicks to see how few of them I actually get, because the numbers are going to go way down. So them making the catching rating lower to be able to get interceptions is good. Like, that actually is a good thing. I don't care what my catching is, unless it's like 50. I should catch picks when the ball is thrown to me on the competitive game mode, on the competitive game style, right? The ball's thrown to you on defense, you should catch interceptions. I think we can all agree to that. This applies to open catches, since physical contact with a player or the ball can still cause the ball to get knocked out. Immediately, this is a huge caveat, okay? This is a huge caveat, because physical contact with the player means if they throw into double coverage, there are 3 players there, a wide receiver, 2 DBs, correct? 1 + 2 = 3. I dropped out of college, but I know that. Now, 3 players being in the same area means they're all going to bump into each other, meaning that it's actually better. It's less likely for a pick to be in double coverage than it is for single coverage. This is inherently bad, especially when we're talking about, again, the competitive game style, which they are tuning this for. I understand that while, did they mention the physics engine here? Maybe it's a little bit later. I understand the physical contact with players, like, makes it harder for you to catch the ball and all that, and, 2 players hitting each other, whatever. Fact of the matter is, though, it should never be less likely for double coverage to get picked off than single coverage. I think we can all, I'm really hoping we can all agree with that people should be punished more for throwing into double coverage than single coverage. Yeah, I think single coverage, if it's a contested ball, I think you should be punished for that as well. Don't get me wrong there. I think you should be contested. I think you should be punished for that. But this is really stupid, and we're going to keep on going. Fixed an issue causing undesired catch drops when the QB would get hit during or shortly after throwing the ball. I don't totally know what they're talking about here, but there was just a lot of dropped passes in this game. Like, they're a ridiculous amount. I played some regs the past couple weeks, and we dropped a lot. Like, a ridiculous amount. Dev note right here. In our September title update, we included a fix to decrease the chance for defenders to catch the ball after the QB pass out of a hit, but that fix had the unintended result of decreasing the chance to catch passes during or after a QB hit globally. So basically, they said that they tried to patch defensive line or blitzing picks, right? So if I got hit while I was throwing and the ball was going to fall to the ground, and the defensive lineman shed and picked it off. They got rid of that. Everyone, 99%, I'll say 90% of the community, especially on Twitter at least, very happy about that. Great change. I think defensive line or just blitzer picks are really bad for the game. Great change. But this made catches, apparently after the QB got hit at all, super likely to get dropped, meaning that if you threw the ball, then got hit, and your receiver was about to catch it, he would now drop it because your quarterback got hit a second after releasing the ball. And so what they did was, in response to this, we are backing that change out of the game to return catch chances to previous values. This will temporarily reintroduce situations that allow pass rushers to sometimes catch the ball when the QB throws out of a hit. But we plan to refine that logic without impacting the global catch chance in an upcoming title update. This is concerning. This does not mean my guess is they don't fix this. I understand that this says they plan to refine that logic. I assume they don't fix it. They couldn't fix it, and then instead of fixing, so they tried to fix D-line picks, they ruined catching as a whole. So instead of finding the balance, they just reverted that entire change. That's not a sign. That's not a sign of them being able to fix it, I guess. I hope I'm wrong. I really hope I'm wrong because it's really, really stupid. But yeah, it's just okay, what are we doing? Additionally, with this, it appears somehow it's related to this because the kick meter glitch is back in the game now. So this patch came out, fixed the, I don't know why they're calling it the September title update because this became a huge issue. Oh, I'm sorry. A lot of the undesired drops came after, in my opinion, a little patch to fix the menu going over the kick meter. And then the update came out. Then we started dropping more passes, ironically. Maybe it wasn't exactly that. But regardless, this has brought back the kick meter glitch, which is a fun, it gets into one of my biggest pet peeves of what I want in a video game is that I need the game to be functional, and not being able to see the kick meter is not you kick a lot. Field goals, extra points, kickoffs, punts. Safety punts in general. You kick a lot, and not being able to see the kick meter a lot of the times is really frustrating and really, really dumb. And then them fixing it and then adding it back into the game, essentially, which I believe is part of this, because they literally just reverted a patch. This is part of it. Really frustrating, in my opinion. Really frustrating. Fixed an issue to fix curl flat defenders in a specific play. Cool. Love that. Safety and cornerbacks have flipped assignment covering offensive formation with 3 tight ends. I don't even necessarily know what this issue was, but cool. That's good. Fixed an issue allowing the ball carrier to have no fumble chance when diving. After this fix, ball carriers will have a higher risk of fumbling when diving into traffic. Fair. Increase the size of the pass accuracy meter. Good. Cool. Love that. Good job. Fixed an issue of sometimes allowing unblocked defenders when using block and release routes in empty formations. This is good. This is actually good. I don't really use delay routes, so delay fades, delay drags, delay flats, delay all those things, right? That come stock or hot routed. Dev note says right here, eligible receivers with a block and release assignment will not go out into the route until they have at least made contact with a blitzing defender that they are targeting. That's awesome. Really, that is how it should work. I have not tested this yet myself, but really that is how it should work. I'm a big fan of that. This blocker will stay in engagement for a very short period of time, then release on his route. Awesome. There was issues in the past where you could put delay routes and they wouldn't do anything, and guy would just come free at you, and just dumb. And then we also fixed a rare issue causing engaged players and a block to freeze on the field for the rest of the play. I haven't seen that, but I've seen my defensive linemen freeze a lot pre-snap, and that's pretty frustrating. A bunch of franchise stuff, and then some MUT stuff as well they fixed, which is good. Hopefully they fixed a lot of different visual stuff, and it seems like they did, which is all good, man. But I'll be honest, man, for this being our November gameplay update, I'm pretty disappointed. I'm not a fan of how little they did, and then reintroducing stuff that was purposely taken out because they couldn't fix stuff. I think it's bad. I think it's a sign of like not having full control over being able to, I guess, program the game to how the devs want to, which is which is concerning. And not much changed either, dude. And then we have giant issues in the game. A big one, I think I might have mentioned it earlier, but like slants and in routes and different routes just stop in the middle of the field still. And please, before somebody goes, Civil, you don't know real football. Slants in real life, if a receiver's running a slant and they see zone coverage, they'll sometimes sit down in the middle of the zone. That's not what they're doing. They are stopping because it's coded poorly. Like that is it. You can run it against man coverage and they'll stop as well. Just poorly coded. So it's frustrating. It's definitely frustrating. I know a lot of the match guys are still upset too. I personally don't mind a ton, but I mean, again, I know a lot of the match guys, a lot of the match stuff is still broken. So, which is also something that seems like it would come in an update, right? Like, and it seems like it'd be, I don't know, man. This one seems a little underwhelming, and them reintroducing the kick meter glitch and reintroducing D-line picks, which I know is like a little bit of debate on, but I feel like is pretty much all agreeable that D-line picks are very fluky, so they just should not be in the game, which is why they took them out. For me, man, it's frustrating. It's frustrating, right? But yeah, UI. Yeah, they added a bunch of different a bunch of different player stuff. So I mean that's good. But yeah, boys. You enjoyed the video. Make sure to hit the subscribe button. A lot of you guys aren't subscribed right now, and especially made it to the end of this video. Make sure, please do. Helps us out here a ton with making the videos on this channel, everything like that. So consider hitting the subscribe button. I appreciate y'all, and we'll see y'all in the next video.